Hello, my name is Ben Sayer. Welcome to this screencast for PC genealogists. In this video, I'm going to show you how to add to-do items in RootsMagic 4. So let's open up RootsMagic. And there are three different types of to-do items in RootsMagic, and those are people to-do items, family to-do items, and general to-do items. General to-do items are to-do items that aren't associated with a specific person or a specific family. So I'm going to show you how to add each of those three types. The first one I want to show you is people to-do items. So in order to add a to-do item for a person, you've got to navigate to the person for which you want to add the to-do item. So you can navigate whatever way it is that you are accustomed to and prefer. I'm going to add a to-do item for Henry Fraser Bigsby here, so I'm just going to select his record right there. Now the first way that I want to show you for adding a person to do, because there are two, is to actually use the Edit Person window. So I'm going to open that up for Henry Fraser Bigsby by double-clicking his entry on this pedigree chart. So here we have the Edit Person window, and I can simply click this To-Do button down here under the person details, and next to it you can see there are no to-do items associated with him right now. So if I click this To-Do button, it'll bring up this little window that will allow me to add a task. So I'm just going to click this plus button and then type in the text of the task and set the priority and any status or date information that I want, and then I'll update the repository or the address as appropriate to the task. So let me show you how to do this. The cursor's already in the task window here, so I'm just going to type in the description of the task. So we're gonna add this task, add a tombstone, make a tombstone photo, and that's not a high priority item. It's one I would like to get done at some point, but it's not critical. So I'm just going to set that to a number 7. I'm going to leave it open because it's not pending anything else happening other than a trip to the Ludington, Michigan area. And it automatically populates the date that it started there. Under status, there are some other statuses, of course, completed for when it is done, pending, meaning you've got something else that this is dependent on or something like that. Or if this is a problem, this is a good status to put on those things for brick walls so you can easily find your problem to-do items later. Down below you can put in some information about the task that you have. In this case I'm not going to have any. And then one of the really neat features here is you can select either an address or a repository. Now an address is really about putting in information about someone that you've got to work with in order to get something done. For instance, if I needed something that I needed to talk to someone about, I would actually put in the address for that person, which could include not just their physical mailing address, but other contact information like phone numbers or email addresses, things like that. But in this case, the cemetery itself is a repository of information, so I'm going to click on this Select Repository button. And you can see I've got a few of them entered here as examples. So I've got Ancestry.com, my local family history center, the SeekingMichigan.org site, this Utah State Archives and Records Service Research Center, and WorldVitalRecords.com. But I don't have that cemetery, so I'm going to use this button up here on this repositories window to add one. So click that plus button, and I'm going to call this Center Riverton, Michigan Cemetery. I'm going to call it, let me actually call it Center Riverton Cemetery, just in case I want to search for it by that name, because that is what it's referred to. And then I can enter in a street address for this cemetery. 2928 West Kinney Road. Okay, and that's in the USA. And if I had other information for that, I could populate it here, or notes about that thing. It's also neat if you have a website in here or an email address, you can use these buttons at the bottom when you open up a repository entry and either send an email to that address or visit that website. Open up a browser window. It's pretty neat. Okay, so now we can see Center Riverton Cemetery is in here, so I've got to click it once to select it because I want to associate it with this record. Over on the right, you can see the information that we have about that repository, and I'm just going to click Select. So now we can see here under Where Do I Need to Do It for the task, it's at this location. When do I need to do it? The date's here, and what do I need to do? So it's all broken out quite nicely. So I'm going to click OK to save that to-do item. And now we can see under to-do items for Henry Fraser Bigsby, we've got Make a Tombstone Photo. And then here's the information about that. In other screencasts, I cover how to edit these things, how to delete them, and how to create lists and reports of to-do items and how to find to-do items that you have. Okay, so now you can see here, next to the to-do button, it shows that there's one to-do item for this person. Now don't be confused by this terminology. This uses the word general down here. I actually logged a defect report with RootsMagic because of this confusing terminology. This is not a general to-do item. This is a person to-do item, and I believe that that they're going to change that information here so they're not using this word general on this screen so that doesn't confuse people. So I'm going to close out that record for Henry Fraser Bigsby. Now let me show you how to add another way to add a to-do item to a person. Again, you've got to have that person selected. So here we've got Henry Fraser Bigsby already selected from previous. So up here on this toolbar, there's an Edit To-Do Items button, and you can click on this little triangle to pull it down, and you can select person from that list. And so you can see it takes us to the same place. So let's just add another task, because there is something else we want to do after we've got that tombstone photo, and that is we want to submit it to Find a Grave. And that's not a high priority either. And here we're going to need to put a repository in again. And again, I don't have Find a Grave on here, so I'm going to add that. I'm just going to put in a website down here. Okay, and then I'm going to select it. Okay, and there we go. That's the two different ways to add to-do items to a person in RootsMagic 4. Now the next thing I want to show you is how to add them to a family. And it's very similar. You've got to have one of the people selected who make up the couple of the family. And you can be on this pedigrees view or the family view, either one. I'll just stay in the family view for this. And the only way to add a to-do item for a family is once you have that family selected, or one of the persons in the couple for the family, is you use this Edit To-Do Items button on the toolbar, and then select Family. So here you can see it's a little bit different than it was for the Add a Person, because for the to-do here it says Henry Fraser Bigsby and Sadie Emma Lichty, so it names the two people in the couple, so you can tell this is a family to-do item. It's not just specific to one of them. So again, this is very similar to what you would do for the adding a to-do for a person, except it's associated to those family members. So let me show you an example of where you might use this. So I'm going to go over here and type Schuldebrand, and I'm going to accept John here. So here I've got John and Eliza Schuldebrand, and I know that they were Scandinavian Latter-day Saints that emigrated, and so I want to look up a couple films that at the Family History Center. So I'm going to add a family to-do list for that, or to-do item. So I just clicked on Add a Task, and that brought up my Edit To-Do Item window. So I'm just going to type in Request Films 025 692 and 175 655 from Family History Center. Again, this is not a high priority. It's something that I'm actively working on right now, though, so I'm going to keep the priority in the middle there. And then I want to select a repository just like I did for the person to-do items, but in this case I already have my local family history center selected or added as a repository, so I'm just going to click that one time. Actually, if I double click it, it selects it, so you don't have to click it once and press select. If you prefer, or you can just double click it. So now you can see what I need to do is request these two films. When do I need to do it, and where do I need to do it are all in there. If I have additional information, I could cut and paste or type into this details, and then as I'll discuss in the edit screencast, you'll see that you can add results and update when you last worked on it and when you completed it, that sort of thing. So now we have a family to-do item for this couple. And then the last type of to-do item that I want to show you is the general to-do items. So let me go back here a little bit, and I want to show you the way to create general to-do items. And in this case, it doesn't matter what person you have selected because the to-do item is not associated with them. So here we can do lists, to-do list, and then if we click add task now, this will add a general task. So an example of that, something that's not associated with a person or a family, would be something like seekingmichigan.org is in the middle of adding right around 1 million death records online for Michigan, and they're about 2/3 of the way through that right now, and so periodically I need to check back to see if they've added more records. So I'm just going to add a general to-do item here because that affects more than one person, more than one family. So I'm just going to type check, seeking for new records. Not a high priority. And we need to select a repository. Seekingmichigan.org is already a repository, so I just click that and press OK. So now we've got in this, one of the interesting things in this to-do list that you reach through this lists menu item is that in this window you can see all the to-do items that you have added into your to-do database. So you can see the check seekingmichigan.org for new records entry that we just put in, but you can also see those other entries that we entered. So we were talking about making tombstone photos, right? So right there, make a tombstone photo. That's a Henry Fraser Bigsby. And here you can see that this is a person to-do item because under 4 here it has a person's name. Now let's have a look at that request for the films. This is the one we put in with the 2 film numbers, and here you can see it's a family to-do item because this 4 line references this couple. And then again that to-do item for checking seeking records or seekingmichigan.org for new records, under 4 it just says general. So you can see that's one of the ways you can tell the difference between person, family, and general to-do items. And there you have it. That's how you can add to-do records for persons, families, and general to-do items in RootsMagic 4